Hello everyone. Today I will explain an idea that will guide the development of scientific knowledge. It's called philosophical equilibrium. First, let's look at the content of the presentation. Yes, today I would like to mention about logical positivism, Popper, Kuhn, Lakatos, Feyeraband, and then chemical equilibrium, and finally philosophical equilibrium. After mentioning logical positivism, and the ideas of some philosophers in the presentation, I will explain my own philosophical idea towards the development of scientific knowledge. Okay. In the slide, you will see logical positivism. Logical positivism states that scientific knowledge progresses with the accumulation of truths. In other words, logical positivism states that science progresses through the verification of scientific knowledge. Verification is the key word in this part. Let's continue. Popper. Karl Popper stated that, or argued that, scientific information can be classified as scientific knowledge to the extent that it can be falsified. So, or in other words, Popper states that scientific knowledge or science progress through the falsification of scientific knowledge. However, logical positivism states that science progresses through the verification of scientific knowledge. Popper states that science progresses through the falsification of scientific knowledge. Yes, Popper states that whenever a theory appears to you as the only possible one, take this as a sign that you have neither understood the theory nor the problem which it was intended to solve. And let's talk about Thomas Kuhn. Thomas Kuhn states that research under a paradigm must be a particularly effective way of inducing paradigm change. So Kuhn argued that a scientific revelation occurs when a paradigm changes in science. Yes, continue. Lakatos, another philosopher. Blind commitment to a theory is not an intellectual virtue, it is an intellectual crime. So Lakatos states that the concept of research program. He states that even if different theories are used in a research program, these theories have a common and unchangeable core. There is a protective ring or belt around this core. The core is preserved during research. However, researchers make changes to the ring to help solve new problems. For instance, acids and bases. The definition of acids and the definition of base. This is the core, or the definition of acids and definition of base is the core of a research program. But, however, Arrhenius, Bronsted, Lowry, and Lewis make changes to the ring to help solve new problems about definition of acids and bases. So, according to Lakatos, the core is preserved during research. Let's continue. Feyeraband. Feyeraband states that the progress of science, of good science, depends on novel ideas and on intellectual freedom. Science has very often been advanced by outsiders. Remember that Bohr and Einstein regarded themselves as outsiders. Feyeraband states that scientists who break rigid scientific methods and insights make the greatest contribution to science. Yes, very very changeable idea or insights from Feyeraband. Yes, now I will explain chemical equilibrium. What is chemical equilibrium? Yes, chemical equilibrium. In the reaction that takes place in a closed container, first the reaction in the forward direction is accelerated. After a while, the reaction in the reverse direction starts to accelerate. At equilibrium, the reaction rate in both directions is equalized. Forward rate, reverse rate, and equal rates in the equilibrium. Yes, continue. When the system is exposed to an impact, the equilibrium is disturbed or equilibrium position is changed, and again it's tried to equalize the reaction rate in both directions. So I explained what about chemical equilibrium, and I mentioned about some philosophers, about their ideas about scientific knowledge. So now I explain my idea, philosophical equilibrium. Philosophical equilibrium states that scientists work to verify a certain scientific knowledge for a period of time. Yes, in chemistry, the reaction takes place in a forward direction. So, I mean, verification represents forward direction. Okay, continue. Let's continue. Philosophical equilibrium states that since certain scientific knowledge cannot satisfy certain needs, some scientists try to falsify this scientific knowledge. So, in chemistry, the reaction in the reverse direction accelerates. Yeah, I mean, falsification represents reverse direction. Continue. Philosophical equilibrium states that verification and falsification will continue at an equal rate after a while. So in the chemistry, we can say that the rate of the forward reaction becomes equal to the rate of the reverse reaction. So rate of verification equals rate of falsification represents the rate of the forward reactions equals the rate of the reverse reactions. Yes, continue. Philosophical equilibrium states that the work rate of scientists who want to verify or falsify scientific knowledge determines when the equilibrium position will be changed. In chemistry, we can say that when the temperature of an equilibrium system is increased, the equilibrium shift in the forward or backward direction depending on whether the reaction is endothermic or exothermic. So, whichever direction of scientific knowledge people choose in line with their needs, the direction of scientific knowledge will change in that direction. Repeat, whichever direction of scientific knowledge people choose in line with their needs, the direction of scientific knowledge will change in that direction. So, discussion. Philosophical equilibrium theory will not argue that scientific knowledge will progress through only verification. It will not just say that scientific knowledge will only be altered by falsification. Philosophical equilibrium theory also will not state that a scientific revelation occurs when a paradigm change in science. It will not argue that scientific theories have a common and unchangeable core. It will argue that philosophical equilibrium will argue that while scientific knowledge is being developed, scientific methods can be used, but there is no need for strict use. The philosophical equilibrium theory will not see the development of scientific knowledge in one direction and will evaluate the development of scientific knowledge in a bidirectional manner. The philosophical equilibrium will evaluate the development of scientific knowledge in a bidirectional manner. So, today I try to explain my theory on how scientific knowledge will develop. Thank you very much for everyone. Have a nice day.